So you often say that burnout does not last forever. What is one message you most want parents to carry forward in leaving our conversation today?
Burnout is dumb and it's not your fault. And lots of people are out here to help you. Uh, you don't have to do any of these things alone. Parenting can feel really lonely, and you don't have to be alone. If you take some deep breaths and you giggle, you're going to really quickly figure out who those humans are who need to be in your life so that you can get the support you need so you get to show up as the human you want to be.
Hi, and welcome to The Weekly Parent, a podcast for people who Google everything, overthink most things, and occasionally spiral, wondering if they're totally screwing it all up. I'm your host, Dr. Kaya Duffy.
Hello, and thank you all for joining today. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Erica Buchholz, who is a parent coach with a doctorate in applied developmental psychology, and she is also the founder of Becoming Playful. Erica helps parents recover from burnout and rediscover joy through play, flow, and even intentional laughter. Boy, if we couldn't all use a little bit more of that in our lives. This is also known as laughter yoga. So drawing from her own experience as a mom and from the science of play, Erica teaches practical ways for parents to recharge, reconnect with themselves, and thrive. And I personally cannot wait to hear her perspective. So Erica, hello, thank you for joining. I would love to start with a little bit of your story. So what led you from studying developmental psychology into parent coaching, and specifically into this idea of playfulness as a key to well-being?
Well, thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited. It's going to be so good. So how did I get here? Well, started off doing that really traditional path, right? I got my PhD. I worked with kiddos with autism and various disabilities for a really long time, had my own kiddo, and really tried hard to do all of the things correctly and learned about what burnout really means when you are trying so hard to do all of the things according to all of these rules that you learn. Perfectionism, that feels like home to me. And also, oh my gosh, it was so uncomfortable. So after working a few jobs and really realizing that I kept falling into the same patterns of have to do it exactly correct and have everything right at home. And no matter how much I cleaned, everything was still dirty and there were still bottles in the sink. But there are no more hours left. And one day I just Googled how to feel better now. And the first thing that came up was laughter yoga. And I said, that's not real. Like, I'm a researcher. Like, laughter yoga, that's not a real thing. And also, I'm a researcher, so I did significantly way more research than I should have and realized it's super real. A doctor in the 90s came up with it and showed that when they intentionally use laughter in their practices, people recover faster and they have significantly better outcomes. And since then, there's a ton of research out there about the value of play, the value of laughter. And intuitively, we kind of just know this, right? That once you giggle with your best friend for a bit, you feel better, you feel lighter, everything feels looser. And you can turn that on purpose, and you can intentionally make the choice to be laughing, to be playful, to be a little bit silly. You can, I didn't know then, now, like now, today, I know play for grown-ups doesn't have to be on a swing. It doesn't have to be silly and rambunctious. Play for grown-ups is creation, creativity. That's it. That is the easiest, simplest definition. And when you think about it that way, oh, beautiful. I can create stuff. I create Hot Wheels tracks all day long, as if I couldn't create something for myself, right? So that's how I got there.
Thank you for sharing that with me. I mean, a few things you've said as a recovering perfectionist myself, completely resonates with me, this idea that I'm supposed to be doing something and in a certain way. And that kind of is what will define whether or not I'm successful. And to find ways to change that narrative for myself has been really empowering. and to realize that there are lots of ways to be successful, right? And that we can define that. And so, as I said a moment ago, I really love hearing other people stories who have been able to have that kind of recognition as well. And another thing you just said in your introduction there, I find at the end of a day, especially when it has been a tiring day, we as a family, we like to watch shows as a family, or, we'll watch movies as a family. And 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, I want something that is lighthearted and is going to make me laugh. And, often people are making suggestions for, there's this really great, but it's this deep, heavy, emotional, and absolutely time and a place for that. But mostly I want to laugh at the end of the day. And, I think there is really something beautiful about having that kind of, that ability to laugh and, the way I feel following something like that. So I want to draw out this thread just a little bit more here around the idea of play for adults being creativity. And so the question I wanted to ask you was, that your work really focuses on helping adults embrace play. And often we think of that as getting down on the floor and building with blocks, or being on a swing is the example you gave. But you just gave us a different definition of playfulness, especially for adults. And so why does it matter for parents themselves to identify this idea of playfulness and to embrace it? Like, again, there are health benefits to it, but can you talk a little bit more about that definition and why we as parents need to pay attention to that?
Absolutely. We are parents. We are doing all of the things. We are taking care of these adorable humans, and they're spectacular and challenging and wonderful in all of the ways. And you're a human too. Like, you just are. And you get to show up in a different kind of way with the other humans in your life when you've had some time for you too, right? Some people will call this self-care. You are welcome to take a bubble bath and go on a week-long vacation if you can, please do. But for me, self-care always has meant taking care of myself. And what does Erica not get during the day? Chance to breathe and a break and time away from responsibility. Creativity, creation, play are all of those things. And when you can intentionally place it into your day, well, think about when you get up in the morning and you've got all the things and you're rushing around and someone's talking to you and the TV is on. It's all this happening, all this overstimulation. Think also what happens after you do watch that TV show. You feel relaxed, things feel good. Someone comes to you with something and you just kind of generally react. But in the morning scenario, you're like, hold on, I'm trying to, and it's like so much. And if you took 3 deep breaths, you could react in a different way. That's all we're trying to access as adults. You are welcome to get a huge canvas and paint an incredible scene that you get to hang in your room and have forever. And go ahead if you can. And you can take a napkin that's on the table and your watercolor, because it's super fast to watercolor. You literally dip the paint in the watercolor and then you wipe it on stuff. And that counts too. It's the action and the purposeful action of trying to do something for you that nourishes. The first time that I noticed I was playing as an adult actually was when I was on the floor with the blocks and my little guy. He was doing things, and I grabbed a couple and I made a ninja warrior ramp, the thing where they run up and try to climb up there. And I was like, oh, look what I did. And I'm like patting at my husband, like, look, I made a ninja warrior thing. And I took a picture, and that felt like play because it was just something I created. What I'm doing as a mom is super important, and my responsibilities are real, and they can be very serious, and a lot can feel really tough. And I can do it while taking care of myself and having a few moments to create. Doesn't have to take forever, but intentionally, even 2 minutes while you're doing other stuff totally counts. That's why we started doing squats when we do the dishwasher, because it's so silly and just ridiculous, right? So you grab the dish and then you squat to put it into the dishwasher and you get up, and everyone laughs when you do this. And that's plenty because the dishes got done too.
Yeah.
Right? And I
Yes.
got to be a little silly. Hey, I got a couple of squats in. Nobody's ever upset that you got a couple of squats in. Right? But it's just, how can you add lightheartedness into your day in a way that is different sometimes to give yourself a break?
Mm. What a gift to be able to figure that out. I like this idea that creativity can come in so many different forms, and that it really just takes you figuring out where yours is that brings that lightheartedness to you and to your day. So how do you talk about this with parents and helping them figure out where that is for them, where that creativity and that lightheartedness can come?
Absolutely. When people come to me, it's always because they want to help their kids. Great, perfect. I want to help your kids too, right? If you feel stressed out about something, let's help you figure out what to do so that you don't feel stressed out anymore, because it's really hard to parent when you're stressed out. It's just that much harder. So yes, they absolutely come. And a lot of the times it's, what do you as a grown up need right now? Do you need information? Great, perfect. I got a PhD in development. Sure. What do you need to know? Is this normal for a 5-year-old or not? Okay, cool. Let's talk about it. Is it that you're afraid of something? Okay, cool. Great. Me too. I'm afraid of a lot of stuff. Let's talk about what you're afraid of and let's see what we can do there. And sometimes it's, I need to take a break. Great. What do you need to make that happen? And then how in the world am I supposed to play when there are a million things on my plate? I do not have time to play. I hear it all the time. And I'm like, I feel you, friend. Believe me, which is why we figure out it's not add on. We are never putting more on people's plates around here. Nope. I went to grad school. We do not do that. It's either how do you habit stack? How do you do it at the same time? Can you listen to your favorite song while you brush your teeth? Great. But then the main question that gets it to people is, what did you do when you were a kid? Right? When nobody was bugging you, when nobody's driving you to the activity, what'd you do when you were a kid? What'd you like? A lot of people really enjoyed stringing macaroni noodles on thread and string and stuff. That's what they love. Okay, great. Could you please go make a bracelet and let me know next week how it went? And they do, and it's great. And sometimes they paint it, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes they're like, I remembered how to make a friendship bracelet, and they do the braiding. You just see a whole different light. Come on. And I've never had a parent be like, this is a play activity that I can't do around my kid. No, all of them. You can do them all. I mean, I guess if you're doing axe throwing, keep the kid in the back for a minute, but they could probably learn a lot by watching, right? Like, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just that it helps you feel like you're creating something, or that you get a break from something, or you are adding to your life in some way. If it helps you giggle, oh my gosh, even better. If it doesn't, it's fine. If you've ever watched a child play, it is not, I did this thing and it totally worked and everything's great. No, a Hot Wheels track, you set it up and then the ramp wasn't steep enough the first time. And then the loop was a little bit loose, so you had to move it. So then you try again and it doesn't make the jump quite quickly enough. So you had to move the box in. It's failure. It's play is often not succeeding the first time. It's that problem solving and trying to create something that gives you a afterwards. Like, I did it. Accomplishment is so fun to attach to play. Totally not necessary, but so fun to get there.
Yeah. I mean, it is the seeing the macaroni bracelet come to life, or the friendship bracelet afterwards, or the little painted, for me, it would be a rainbow. That was what I could paint on a napkin, but that would be it. But then I have it. Yeah. And I would struggle a little bit, but I would have that sense of accomplishment afterwards. Yeah.
I bet you really enjoyed getting the colors in the right order, if I'm guessing, right? Knowing your perfectionism.
Yes. Are you kidding?
That brought me such joy. Still today. Like when I get it correct, I'm like, that's right. I got some Roy G. Diz. That's pretty. So yes.
Look at me. I did it. I still know the rainbow. I know.
Good at everything I do. Yes.
For sure. Yeah, exactly right. I would also then hang it on the fridge. Let's be clear. That's where it would. Yes.
Do that still, right? Like as grown-ups, you can still hang your artwork too. You're hanging your kids, put yours right next to it.
Yeah.
And if you asked your kid to give you a sticker because you did a good job, like now they get to be part of this and see there's value in my mom creating something too.
Yeah. So you describe 3 pillars of burnout recovery: recharging, inner power, and time to thrive. Can you walk us through each one of those and what they might look like for what they might look like in practice for busy parents like you and I are?
Absolutely. So I've gone through a couple of burnout journeys. I apparently learned through repetition, and therefore I've had to go through it a few times to really cement in the learning. Recharge, especially. So burnout is not just a feeling of exhaustion and tired. Burnout is a true chemical change in your brain that makes your thoughts different. It is much harder to pull on motivation and inspiration and these wonderful skills and things that we have inside, but it is significantly harder to pull on them. So when you are in burnout or you would like to avoid burnout, making sure to spend time in the recharge area is important. Recharge is things like taking care of yourself. It is resting. It is recovery. So it can mean taking a nap. I'm pretty sure we all need more naps, like just hands down. But it also means recovery, which, if you exercise and your muscles hurt, recovery means ice. It may mean no activity, but it actually is often an active process. You place ice or you actively stretch. Recovery is an action-based time.
Yeah.
So for adults, especially parents, it is often eat nourishing foods, take deep breaths, go somewhere beautiful, get some sunlight on your skin with appropriate sunscreen and all, right? But get in nature. Forest bathing is real. Everything else is. But nature is so healing. Inner power, the second pillar, is factor thoughts. As a new mom, I had truly no idea that your thoughts, 1, you don't have to believe them, and 2, that you can change them. I did not know this. I thought every time I thought I was a bad mom, it was true. Every time I thought, man, I am failing at this. Man, my kid is going to be damaged. I really believed them. It wasn't until I learned that thoughts are adorable little things that our brain just happens to shoot through all day long. And you can let some of them go back and you don't have to believe them and you don't have to take action on them. And yeah, they'll probably circle back around. Apparently our brain really has like 10 main rooted thoughts that we think, the bad ones. And they just kind of, go on repeat. And it's cool. It's fine. But I learned that you could change them. And that's where the inner power pieces came from. I'm a terrible mom. Change to, I am a human trying, and I'm trying real hard. And that changes how I feel about things.
Yeah.
I am not a good enough mom for this kid. This kid needs someone else. This kid got me, and we're hanging in there. Look, he's still breathing. Look, he ate a vegetable today. Woo! Okay, I'm doing the best that I can. Inner power can also mean getting support from other humans, right? Like my therapist has been with me on so very many journeys, and I find it so supportive because yes, I have a lot of parents who are friends and a lot of friends who are parents. And sometimes I just can't express in the same way to them what I do with the other support professionals in my life. There's something about humans who can hold space for you to let it all fall out, who never meet you with judgment, and who can be like, I hear ya. And what do you want to do about it? And actually give the space for that. And okay, you want to do that. What's missing? What do you need? Right? So inner power is all about what are we thinking? What are we feeling? And leading with what it is we actually want and where we really want to go. And then the third pillar is time to thrive. What do you want to do? How do you want to spend your time? I can't imagine you want to spend your time doing squats with the dishwasher all day, right? Like that's fun for a moment. I don't want to spend that much time doing that, right? How do you want to spend time? And how can you get your kiddos with you, or can they go somewhere else while you do the things that you want to do? For me, time to thrive is the play and the laughter, and intentionally putting it on my Google Calendar, just like I put literally every single other thing, right? Soccer practice goes on the calendar. Erica gets a break and giggles for 2 minutes is on the calendar too. They are just as important as our meals are. It holds our whole lives. If that ever goes away, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I don't know. I'm going to need a whole new set of professionals if the Google Calendar goes away. Right? But time to thrive is truly, how do you get back to you and what do you want to spend your time doing? A lot of moms I talked to recently have recognized that their kids are on screens way more than they anticipated, and that's okay. And how are we going to replace that? Because just saying no is not really working.
No.
And that's fine. But what are you going to do instead? Those three together, they're never about adding on, but it's about intentionally selecting where they go. And the relief that you get from that is so much more than anything else I've ever done in my whole entire life.
One of the threads that I am hearing through everything you're saying, and it's interesting, it's been a thread through multiple conversations with different people I have had, is the idea of being curious. And in this case, you're really asking us to be curious about ourselves. Be curious about ourselves in taking care of ourselves during that period of recharge. Like, what is it that we need to recharge, and how can we be active in that? We have to be curious about our thoughts as they're coming in. What am I thinking right now? Is there a chance that this is not an accurate thought and one that I can just let go of? How can I reframe that so that it's more useful for me? And then, especially in this time to thrive, what is it that I really need? And spending some time to really identify that. I think for a long time, I felt like I couldn't take that time. That, I don't know, I guess for lack of a more articulate way to say it, it was time wasted to think about what is it that I really wanted. And in fact, it's the opposite. That time that I spend to identify that is giving myself so much more time later, because now I know. And now I can say, oh, when I'm in this moment, this is what I need. I know I've spent the time to realize and to ask myself and to kind of really do that work to know what it is I need in a moment to actually thrive. And I think for me, that's just tended to come with time and age. I don't think it could have happened before that.
Yeah, and I mean, the infant stage is different than the rest, right? You are so physically exhausted. And they're the tiniest of humans, but they make the biggest mess, right? You've got diapers, you've got clothes, you've got bibs, you've got the table, and you've got the floor, you've got all these toys that are around all the time. You've got your clothes because they get your clothes dirty too.
Mm-hmm.
When they're an infant, you are exhausted, and that's okay, right? How can you still make that enjoyable? Well, kids' songs are great and they have their place, but kids can listen to grown-up songs and it does no brain drama at all. Like, you can listen to the songs you like, right? You can dance with them if they so desire, or you can dance by yourself and they can play with blocks. It's fine, right? You are not neglecting them by taking care of your needs, which is very much what I believed.
Mm-hmm.
I thought if I take care of myself, I'm taking away from them. They took so very many professionals to remind me and teach me and show me, and then again remind me even when I didn't believe it, that no, every moment you're taking care of yourself is caring for them, either by modeling for them or having you be in a calm state of mind to respond to their needs, to be that intentional human making decisions for your family instead of making it from anxiety or overwhelm or exhaustion. All of these moments are important. And when you model them for your children, they realize that they're important for them. Someone said to me once, they said, Erica, would you want your kid making decisions in the same way as you do? I said, oh, no, please. But everyone was telling me to do meditation and yoga. And I was like, friends, I cannot stop thinking. How am I supposed to get through a yoga class? I cannot make this thing stop talking. And they're like, okay, try breathing. And when they called it breathing instead of meditation, I was like, oh, well, I can breathe. I have to do that anyway. That's not time wasted, right?
Yeah.
So we did breathing. And then I was like, oh. So even when I stop moving and I breathe and my thoughts are going wild up here, there's nothing wrong. My brain's merely a processor. Its whole job is to send thoughts going. That's its job. That's fine. It's doing its work, but I can sit here and breathe and do my work. Then somebody told me about walking meditation, which I only now call walking breathing, because the meditation word I still don't feel connected to that yet. Maybe give me a couple of years and we'll have
Yeah.
another conversation. Walking breathing for me is where you go outside or inside and you walk and you breathe and you just pay attention to breathing. And I can do that with the stroller. I can do that while chasing the remote control car. I can do that when he's on his bike. Walk and breathe. And that is lovely. And that took nothing away from what I was doing. It didn't add. I was walking anyway. But the intentionality about it has changed how I feel. And my husband has absolutely told me that it has changed how I show up at this house and how I show up in our interactions.
That's amazing. Such a simple thing. And again, there is that little bit of reframe. Okay, meditation feels overwhelming. Great. Just breathe. I love it. I love that. So you've mentioned this, you've talked about this even earlier in our conversation, that something called laughter yoga. When I was in graduate school, had a yoga instructor because I would not have considered it meditating, but I did do yoga for a while. He also taught something called laughter meditation. You would get together. I know. Thank you. All day I'm going to be thinking about needing to meditate.
Just breathe. Just breathe. We're just breathing. Just breathing.
That I can do. Don't mind me. I'm just over here breathing. Anyway, you would get together. You'd lay on strangers' stomachs. Your head would be on their stomach. And then you just kind of start laughing. And it was forced at first. And then over time, it would just, you were rolling on the floor. You could not stop it. Natural laughter coming. So this is what I have in my head when I think about laughter yoga. But intentional laughter as a daily practice, I think, is maybe how you describe it. So is that what it is? Talk about this a little bit.
Laughter yoga truly is laughing just because. It's not because something funny happened. It's not because somebody told you a joke. You just laugh because you can, because it helps you feel better, because it's incredibly healthy for you. The health benefits are wild. What you've described is a super common laughter yoga game that people do. And you're right. I went and got certified as a laughter yoga instructor, and it was 3 days of giggling with strangers. And it was some of the best time of my life. So when you are in a group of humans who are all laughing for no reason whatsoever, you all feel ridiculous for a few minutes. And then, you're like, well, let's just do it. And you just giggle together. And sometimes it's real, genuine, authentic laughter. Sometimes it is not, like that's not a real laugh, but it can get us going, right?
Again, it just did.
It's so good, right? So laughter yoga itself can be super basic. My favorite laughter yoga game is take your finger, place it upon your nose, and then giggle. Ha 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 ha. And that's enough, right? I used to do that in my car on lunch break when the morning was really stressful and I knew I needed to go back for the rest. And you just take a few minutes to laugh and giggle. Your body does not know the difference between genuine laughter and created, fake, fabricated laughter.
Wow.
Body doesn't know. So body's like, oh, okay, I guess we're happy now, everyone. Let's get the dopamine flowing, lower that cortisol, knock that down, right? And it's this amazing breathing that comes with laughter. That's where the yoga piece comes in. You can do this very intentionally. You do not have to do this intentionally whatsoever. You can play windy games. Children are great. Let me just state that to you. Children are spectacular at laughter yoga. They don't know any of these rules that grown-ups have about laughter. You can only laugh so long. Don't be the last one laughing. Definitely don't snort. There are all these social rules about laughter. And laughing with grown-ups can feel a little awkward sometimes. Although I will tell you that parents tend to get into it pretty quick compared to some of the other adults I've met, because they're like, look, ridiculousness is part of my life. Like, let's just do it. Yeah. it's so you can do it on your own. You can do it with other humans. You can do it with kiddos, whatever you want. But it's just intentionally laughing because. And there are millions and millions of games out there. You can make up your own laughter yoga games. Find something funny or not funny, and then make a game of it. You can laugh like a tiger laughs. nobody knows how a tiger laughs. You can't do it wrong. So you just giggle the way you think a tiger would giggle, right? And you just go for it. And after a few minutes, you will feel this incredible release come over your body and you'll feel happier. Which again, you didn't need me to tell you that, right? You already know that after you laugh, you feel better.
Yeah.
And so I a lot of times in coaching, I'll help parents to either we will actively play these games knowing we need to change our state because making decisions from a down hard place, your right hemisphere is not turned on. You can't use your creative problem solving. So sometimes we will actively use laughter yoga games. And sometimes I'll just ask them about their day. All right, tell me the funniest movie you've seen lately. And we'll just talk about why was that funny? Like what made you laugh about that? When was the last time you giggled that hard? And tell me about the time you laughed so hard you peed your pants, right? Like, which is not hard after giving birth. Like, that's fine. That's not hard. So it's fine. But you can then pull on these things and just even lighthearted laughing turns your right hemisphere on. And now when you consider the things that are going on in your life, I got to figure out what to do with this IEP for my kid. I don't even know how to go to an IEP meeting, right? Or my kid's not eating. What in the world am I supposed to do, right? Like, whatever the issue is, you can come to a different solution. You can come to new answers when your right hemisphere is turned on. So beyond feeling better, you can use this as an active strategy to make better choices too.
Oh, I did not know that. I learned that's one of the new things I will have learned today, that laughter turns on the right hemisphere. I love that. And, I'm thinking too, I think a lot of people turn to their screens for that quick hit of, I love the funny memes where Michael Scott from The Office is like doing something that's related to, they're funny. And they're quick, and I get a few of those and then you feel good. But if you can create it yourself instead, and you can stay off of a screen, which I am constantly trying to do, gosh, what a gift that you've just given yourself, that you can actually do this for yourself. So you've sort of given us multiple of these throughout this talk, but maybe let's just pull it all together. So if I am a parent, I'm in a state of really feeling burnout or overwhelm, or, it's just like, again, I just need that little bit of lift. What is a simple practice that I could start today to help move me more towards less overwhelm, more joy?
Deep breath in, deep breath out, deep breath in, giggle it out.
Just like that. It's that simple.
Just do that. Just do that.
How many times a day can I do that?
Every single moment that you want. And just do it for you. Right? You can do that while they are screaming in the back seat because you have stopped at a red light. Like, you can. And you know what? Sometimes, not 100%, but sometimes they watch what you're doing and they start doing it too. And now you've got little kid giggles. Like, come on. What else is going to get you giggling faster? Right? And they're not screaming. So, like, double win. Double win. I think that's the best thing you could possibly do. It's
just breathe, and then breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, giggle it out. I love that. So deep breath out. I heard it. It was brilliant. This has been such a joy.
Settling, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I just remember before learning any of this, there was never a settling. I never felt settled. Always felt like I'm reacting to something and responding to someone. And still today, I mean, while we are speaking, I'm thinking I have to make sure I pick up the dog from daycare before they close at 5, and my kids got the thing tonight, and so I have to make sure. And I feel way more settled after I've giggled just a little bit, or I've just taken a few deep breaths. And those things don't feel as urgent. But if I let them stay urgent, they'll stay urgent all day long. I'll be planning and preparing for them all day long. Whereas I can take them and say, okay, thank you so much. I've got the list. I shoved it in Google Calendar. I'm going to put the thoughts on the shelf back there for now. I'm going to take a minute to breathe, and I feel settled. And there's something so intrinsically motivating about having that feeling that it makes me want to keep doing it. So even when I read this stuff about laughter yoga and be like, that is not real, I still said, I'll give it a try. If these happy people seem to like it, then I guess I'll give it a go. Why not? I try all the other things. I tried grind culture for a long time. That really didn't do it for me, but it's cool. Like, I just didn't know. Now I know better. It's fine. But let me try this giggling stuff. And this one worked. Of all the things I tried, this one's worked. And the more times I feel settled, the more I want to feel that way. So I will actively make choices that let me feel more settled. And my kid is different. He's a different kid now than he used to be based on what we do around here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have to be our best selves, I think, to be the best parents that we can be. It's not, as we've said already, it's not selfish to bring your best self to parenting. It really is what is called for when being a parent, is to figure out how to do that. Do you think, even just in hearing you talk about this, I heard you articulate laughing through and then, okay, yeah, I know I have this running list in my head of things that still do have to get done. I feel more settled coming to that list because I've taken a moment. But I wonder if there really is something to also pairing that with and identifying and getting curious about how you can pair that laughter and settling with a strategy that helps you ensure you've got it down, right? So that I'm not just keeping the list in my head, but I have it on a calendar, or I have my to-do list, or I have my notebook, or whatever your system, the sticky notes on the bathroom mirror, whatever your system is, that it really is a pairing of those two things that is the true magic. And maybe not. Maybe it really just doing the settling and coming to your list and keeping it in your head. Maybe for some people that really is enough. I would still need another system to really feel like I've got it.
Yeah, I feel like for me, it's been a little bit of a spectrum, right? The baby years were so different than elementary school, right? Like for me, it was a totally different land, a totally different era, all very, very different. Whereas like I still require writing things down. Otherwise they replay forever. But when I am actively remembering and trying to take care of myself and making sure I followed through with it on my schedule, the list of things I have to do seems to get smaller. It's not that I care less about vacuuming the house. Like, it's just some of those have become automatic. It's no longer like I have to clean the house because someone might come over and they might see everything. Or it's more like, this is just how I take care of our house. Like, and I listen to my audiobook while I do it. So it's fine. Like, I've learned what habit stacking means. I pair the things that I like with stuff that I don't want to do as much. Yeah. But if I add the thing I like, it's better, right? Like, I love that scene in Mrs. Doubtfire where he was vacuuming and it's got the great music on. Like, what was I doing before? Like, I'm so glad I have infused music or audiobooks is my preference lately because, sometimes I feel a little overstimulated and I just need my book instead of the big heavy dance music. And I think that's fine. I'm allowed to meet myself where I am, and there's no shame and no guilt in that anymore. There's no wrong way to vacuum. It's literally picking stuff up off my floor. It's fine. Some of the stuff gets up. If all the particles get up, cool. I don't think I've ever done that. And you know what? We're all still alive. So expectations. I think where you set your boundaries. I love me too.
So you often say that burnout does not last forever.
Yes.
What is one message you most want parents to carry forward in leaving our conversation today?
Burnout is dumb and it's not your fault. And lots of people are out here to help you. You don't have to do any of these things alone. Parenting can feel really lonely, and you don't have to be alone. If you take some deep breaths and you giggle, you're going to really quickly figure out who those humans are who need to be in your life so that you can get the support you need. So you get to show up as the human you want to be. We don't have to be by ourselves in this, even though it feels that way.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. But you don't have to. And people like me will help you giggle and you'll feel better. I promise, it's going to be okay. You got this.
A little giggle coach. We all need giggle coaches.
So fun.
Ah, wonderful. So if people want to learn more about your work, where can they do that?
Yes, please. So the easiest way is my website, which is becomingplayful.com. And you can find everything you need there.
Brilliant. Yeah. And again, I will make sure that we link to that. Wonderful. I feel like we need a new sign off. Like, it's so cheesy. You know, a giggly day. I don't know. I hope you giggle today, or, something.
I saw a speaker once. Her name was Loretta. And she always ended with, have a zesty day. I was like, yeah.
Zesty?
Have a zesty day. What does that mean? I don't know, but it feels lovely.
I don't know, but it does. Feels better than better. Have a good day. I hope you have a good day. Zesty, I can make that whatever I want it to be. I mean,
anything.
That has a lot of directions it can go. I like that. All right, listeners, have a zesty day. Erica gives us permission.
Always.